update, as the title says, Murder at Shell Station. But we all know that's not what happened. Just the title of the video series that's going on. I am today in front of Tonka Auto Repair here on Shoreline Drive. Let me give you a look. Right up by Bartlett at the mini soft tub. And here's where we are now. Got a bunch of sirens going off in the background today. Just had a cop come zipping by, so I think we'll go up there next and look. Anyways, from what I understand, this is where the young lady was pulled over yesterday after someone had called in and said that there was a suspicious vehicle. And I guess this guy got interviewed on one of the news stations. But what we thought was a tragedy has really turned out to be a super duper tragedy, in the fact that the person she had locked in her trunk was actually her son, who I think was 6 years old. Now, it really tears at your heartstrings, because to lose so much potential so young in life. And from what I understand, there's a GoFundMe page set up right now, and that GoFundMe page talks about, you can read it there yourself, how there was a troubled relationship between the mother and the father, and how the father is trying to do his best to keep the son protected. And from what I saw, it certainly seems the courts have failed this child, because they allowed the child to go back with the mother, and not only that, they allowed, according to that page, some pretty nefarious restraining order type things going through, which had caused a bunch of these issues. Now, Turbine Guy has seen that before, where the courts tend to just believe the women, and it certainly seems like that is a problem that might be cropping up in this case. Now, just to trace a few facts that we do know. By the way, I will put that GoFundMe in my link. Well, they're doing a good job, and what the GoFundMe is for is to help this poor dad who had recently gained access to his son and started forming a relationship, from what I understand, to deal with the tragedy and trauma that's been foisted upon him, not just mentally, but actually having to bury his son. So they're over $16,000 of their $20,000 mark, but just because they put $20,000 doesn't mean it needs to be limited. Like I said, that link will be in the description when I get a chance to put it in, so y'all can help out yourselves. Now, from what I understand, the lady was picked up here. This is where the cop pulled her over. And the murder, the actual killing, or however you want to put it, happened in the update I had over by Red Oak Golf Course, where Red Oak Golf Course used to be, at a home over there. Now, that's a home many of you may recognize driving by, that used to have a bunch of old cars sitting down by the driveway, and you go up through the little area to the house. And that happens to be where that happened. Now, while I was at the Shell yesterday, and this is titled Shell, and the reason I did that was because that's where the police chief, Farniak, was interviewed. And I didn't know the facts then, and the police haven't given out many facts. In fact, I talked to Chief Farniak, or not talked to him, but got messaged him today, and he said that they do not have a new press release out yet. They're still waiting on the coroner to do that. But that Shell station, supposedly there was some evidence dumped in the dumpster. That's what I understand. Now, of course, I'm not hip to all the facts. I can just know what I know. I do know some people were driving by here, and they saw the police when we pulled over, and this young lady was, I wouldn't say beside herself, was extremely nervous and wobbly and all that. And who wouldn't be after something like that and having to deal with that? You know, it just makes you wonder, how does it ever come? How does it ever come to that with the child? That you have to find it within yourself, if this stuff is going on, to reach out and to find someone to talk to, someone to help, and someone to diffuse, and someone to protect the kids, which unfortunately I guess his father was trying to do. I'll just say it again. Sounds like the courts weren't interested in helping. The courts kind of had their own agenda, which is why this happened. You know, and it's really got to be hard. I can't imagine the poor officers and first responders that had to deal with the child. And that's got to be really tough on them. And, you know, that's where PTSD comes from, especially in the officers, responders, and all that. When you have to see things like that, When you have to see what really happens in our society and what the real downside can be, it stays with you. That stuff doesn't go away. So let's hope that they can talk to some people themselves. Anyways, wrap it up real quick again. Fortunately, it was a child, 6 years old, super tragedy. Father was fighting for custody of the child. The courts weren't having any of that. The courts felt the child should be with the mother, and now look where we are now. I'm at the location where she was pulled over, right behind me, Tonka Auto Repair there. And the killing or murder happened over by Red Oak Golf Course, just south of where that used to be, and there was evidence found at the Shell, which is why the police and the interviews were all going on there yesterday, I guess. Anyways, that's what I know. Check out the GoFundMe. Help these people out. You know, relieving one big piece of stress like that can really help people get through something like this. Turbine Guy, signing out.